if you're looking to get a job, I think this formula might just help you. So at Grad Jobs, we help a lot of people to get jobs. So far, we're at 335 offers for our clients, and they consistently get offers at the world's best companies and across almost every field you can imagine, from engineering to IT to finance to consulting to data analytics, business analytics, law, clinical governance, you name it. And here's the formula we like to follow. So in order to get a job, there are a few things that need to happen. Let's draw it out here. So let's say this heart, this poorly drawn heart, is your dream job. Let's call it J. So to get this, what do we need? The first thing we actually need is we need to find a team. You need to figure out which team you want to be a part of, which organization that team is in, what that team does, and it needs to excite you. You need to know where to target, where to look. It's kind of like with fishing. If you are trying to catch a certain fish, you need to know where to look. So we need to know which team. The next thing is we need to know who the decision maker in that team is. Because in the end, most teams, when they're hiring, they will have a specific person, or in some cases, a set of people, small group of people who make hiring decisions. Because if they're going to invest a substantial amount of money, say 50 to hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to get this human into their organization, they've got to make a good decision. So you've got to figure out who that decision maker is. Ultimately, if you never speak to that decision maker, what we've found is that you never get the job. At some point you have to speak to them, and that's usually the last stage of every recruitment process. They'll funnel you through, check your resume, check your tests. They might do a personality quiz, they might do a phone screening, they might do a video pre-recorded interview, psychometrics. Eventually, it ends up, with the Big Four, for example, Deloitte and companies like this, it ends up in a final round interview with the person who runs that team, the main decision maker, usually. So usually you have to find the team, then you have to find the decision maker who is likely the decision maker in that team. Then what needs to happen next? The next thing that needs to happen is you need to have an opportunity. I'm just going to call this op. An opportunity. What I mean by this is there needs to be realistically an opportunity for someone to come into the team, a new person, to add value. And this could happen for a lot of reasons. It could happen because the team is growing and they need to hire extra people. It could be because the team needs a new skill set and they need to hire someone else. It could be because someone left the team. Maybe they were fired or they go on maternity leave and they need someone to come into the team. It could be, it could even be when the organization doesn't know they really need help with something, or they don't currently have someone doing that thing, but they know there could be value in that. And if the right person comes along, they might say, you know what, let's create a job. And that actually happened for me recently at Grad Jobs. I was interviewing for a certain position and I realized actually this could also be a really cool job for someone, and then we've now brought someone on to help. So we need to find a team, decision maker. There needs to be an opportunity there realistically. I mean, if there isn't, it's kind of hard to get a job because there's no real reason for you to be there. The next thing that needs to happen is there needs to be the right price. I'll call this P. Maybe I'll call it $. The right price for this person. So even if they can find a really, really good person for that particular opportunity and that particular team and the decision makers making this decision, if they don't have the money, say for example, the value of that position might bring $30,000 into the business per year, but the person's looking for $70,000, it doesn't make sense price-wise. Or if they, their budget for the position is $50,000 and they're looking for someone asked for, might want $100,000, they might not bother doing the position because the return on investment might not be so high for them. Okay, and the last bit here is that, what do you actually need to do as a candidate? We found there are 3 critical things you need to do. First, the decision maker needs to really, really like you. If they really like you, say 10 out of 10, you usually will get the job. That's what we found. Even if you're missing other things. That's obviously important. The other thing that needs to happen is you need to be a very valuable candidate. I'll just call that V. You need to be a very valuable candidate, which means for the job that they need done, for the problem they need solved within the organization, you need to be pretty good at it. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be the perfect candidate, but it means you have to be able to add value. There's no point in them hiring someone, say as a business analyst, if they come in and they just cannot add value to the team. It doesn't make sense. So you have to be able to add value for whatever their specific need is. And the last thing is also really common, I found is critical actually, is the person has to be super, super motivated. So when they're interviewing, the decision makers interviewing them or talking to them, they need to think, wow, this person, they're really interested in this organization, they're really interested in this specific team, and they're motivated to work hard, to add value to us, to stay long term, and those sorts of things. Typically, these are the main variables that I've found after just analyzing hundreds and hundreds of job offers that my clients get. Small companies, big companies, different industries. It doesn't really matter. It's these things that need to happen. You need to figure out where the team is you want to be a part of. You need to figure out who the decision maker is. You need to ensure there is an opportunity. You need to ensure that, this money thing's probably at the end here, but assuming you can add value, do they have the budget to hire someone like you? Does the decision maker or the small group of decision makers, do they really like you? Do they think you're really valuable and a good fit for this position, and you can genuinely just add value? Not necessarily perfect, but you can add value, and it's a balance of them liking you and also you being really motivated and showing them that. If you can do these things, you can come across as 10 out of 10 likable, 10 out of 10 valuable, 10 out of 10 motivated. They have the budget, they have the opportunity, you know who the decision maker is because you've had to get in touch with them to do these things, and you've got the right team, you will get a job. That's my experience. And if you're not getting a job, typically it's because one or more of these things are missing. Maybe everything's working out, but they just don't have an opportunity. Or maybe you're doing all these things, but they just don't quite have the budget to hire. Maybe they're not making much money in the business, a small business or something. Maybe you're getting everything here, but you're just not getting along with people. And they're thinking, I don't quite like this person. I like this person more. Maybe you're not building enough rapport. Perhaps, you're really likable, you're really motivated, you've got all these things in line, but you're just not quite delivering enough value. There's other candidates who are delivering so much more value that they're going with them. So you can see this is a pretty good formula. If you're unsure about why you're not getting results in your job search, ask yourself, which one of these things have I not focused on, or where am I lacking? Go and fix that, try again, and I think you'll be surprised with your results. Thanks for your time. I hope that was useful.